Okay, now I'm going to show you stem stitch, and I'm bringing my needle up from the back of the fabric at the bottom of this S, and I'm taking it back down a little small stitch length, and I'm keeping my thread looped at the top there, and I'm going to bring my needle up in the middle of those two stitches for the first stitch, and then I'm going to take my needle back down again a stitch length. And this time I'm going to bring my needle right back up in that same hole on the right side of that loop that I had brought my needle up in before, my thread up. So you can see I'm going to go forward a stitch length, and then I'm going to take that needle back up in that other side of the loop there on the right, that same hole. And you just really continue in this way. The important thing when you're doing stem stitch is that you keep your working thread to the same side. So in this case, you can see it's off to the left. It's above my needle where I'm doing my work. Sometimes you'll do a piece where it's below your needle. That part isn't important. The important part is that you're consistent throughout when you're doing it on a given piece. And your left hand is your best friend in hand embroidery, and particularly you can see it in stem stitch where I'm holding that working thread off to the left there, and that makes it really easy. You go forward that stitch length, and then you bring your needle back up in that hole, and it's easy to see when you hold the thread off to the side with your left hand, and you'll really develop a rhythm when you're doing stem stitch, and that will all feel very natural once you've done it a few times. Stem stitch is great for stitching letters, any detail work that has sharp curves, and when you're going around sharp curves you want to make your stitches really tiny. That helps maintain the curved appearance. So your stitch length isn't necessarily going to be consistent when you're doing stem stitch because of that. So sometimes you'll have a more regular sized stitch, the 4 to 5 millimeter, and sometimes they'll be very tiny when you're taking sharp curves. But you can see it has a nice kind of corded effect when you're done. So it's very versatile. It can be used for lots of different things. So I'm not going to finish the letter for time's sake, but that is stem stitch.